Chapter 26, Part 2 of Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Written by Mark Twain from the mid-1870s to mid-1880s. Published in 1885, and read by Clay Shannon in 2020. Well, the king, he talked him blind. So at last he give in and said, all right, but said he believed it was blame foolishness to stay, and that doctor hanging over them. But the king says, cuss the doctor. What do we care for him? Ain't we got all the fools in town on our side? And ain't that a big enough majority in any town? So they got ready to go downstairs again. The Duke says, I don't think we put that money in a good place. That cheered me up. I'd begun to think I weren't going to get a hint of no kind to help me. The king says, why? Because Mary Jane will be in mourning from this out, and first you know the nigger that does up the rooms will get in order to box these duds up and put 'em away, and do you reckon a nigger can run across money and not borrow some of it? Your head's level again, Duke, says the king, and he comes a-fumbling under the curtain 2 or 3 foot from where I was. I stuck tight to the wall and kept mighty still, though quivery. And I wondered what them fellows would say to me if they catched me. And I tried to think what I'd better do if they did catch me. But the king, he got the bag before I could think more than about half a thought, and he never suspicioned I was around. They took and shoved the bag through a rip in the straw tick that was under the feather bed, and crammed it in a foot or 2 amongst the straw and said it was all right now, because the nigger only makes up the feather bed and don't turn over the straw tick only about twice a year, and so it wasn't in no danger of getting stole now. But I knowed better. I had it out of there before they was halfway downstairs. I groped along up to my cubby and hid it there till I could get a chance to do better. I judged I better hide it outside of the house somewheres, because if they missed it, they would give the house a good ransacking. I know that very well. Then I turned in, with my clothes all on, but I couldn't have gone to sleep if I'd wanted to. I was in such a sweat to get through with the business. By and by I heard the king and the Duke come up, so I rolled off my pallet and laid with my chin at the top of my ladder, and waited to see if anything was going to happen. But nothing did. So I held on till all the late sounds had quit and the early ones hadn't begun yet. And then I slipped down the ladder.